I work here. I teach here. I'm not starting out with the Fruit Loops. Sorry. That's going to really be a problem for me next year with the 8-period day. I also want to preface everything I say with this is just jokes. None of this really happens in my classroom. But it's going to take me the whole period just to take attendance next year. People will be at the end of the year, so what's you learning there? Nothing. We just took attendance every day. And that was time to go. I teach history, as some of you know.
Yeah.
And that is the most important class you'll take ever. It's not math. It's not English. It's not science. It's not even health. And I can prove that because for all of those other classes, for none of those classes, you actually get days off of school because of them. In history, because the stuff we learn in that class is so important, they actually give you days off because of historical events. Columbus Day. Veterans Day we used to have, until District 300 took that away from you.
Ooh.
Thanksgiving is a historical event. Martin Luther King Day. Memorial Day, which we're out of school by then, anyway. But you have all these days off President's Day for things that happen in history. You're not getting days off because of stuff that happened in English. You don't get adverb day. You don't get days off for math. You don't get algebraic equation day. When your teachers tell you that those classes are more important, say, what day off do we get for this? Then people like to say Pi Day. Well, there's Pi Day. And what day do you get off for that? You don't get a day off for Pi Day. You only get a day off for history stuff. The other thing is it's useful information. It's stuff that you can actually use in life. I had a student a few years ago, and teachers have bad days. And usually if you're in my class, you know if I'm having a bad day. Okay? And kids get written up if I'm having a bad day. But kids don't understand sometimes teachers have bad days. And I was teaching one year, and I was having a bad day. The bell hadn't even rung. And some other teacher that I taught with had, it wasn't here, everybody knows, it ticked me off before school even started. I was really upset. And so I walked into my class, and the bell rings, and everyone's sitting there quiet, and I'm in such a bad mood, and the day is just starting. And this kid in the back of the room makes a comment, and he goes, Mr. Peterson, you're a really great teacher. And I thought he was being smart out. And so I was just not in the mood, and I'm just like, I'm going to write that kid up. Well, I took a deep breath, and I go, well, why do you say that, Nick? And he said, well, I can't tell you, but you are. And I said, okay. And then I heard a whisper to the kid next to him, but I knew that cop couldn't search my house without a warrant because we learned that in Peterson's class. I was so proud. I joined Facebook a couple years ago, and I was friending kids that had graduated a while ago that I hadn't talked to, and this one kid accepted my friend request, and I hadn't really talked to him a whole lot. And it was another proud teacher moment because I was watching the news feed one day and he posts, life is good. My girlfriend's pregnant and I got off on the DUI. I was like, another one of my shining examples. But we learned useful things. We just studied World War I and we learned in there how to make our own gas masks. The first gas masks in World War I. Because it was such a new weapon, they didn't know what to do, were cotton soaked in peen.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, that's really useful stuff. And I thought in this day and age of terrorism, if Al-Qaeda attacks Carpentersville, which is probably next on the list, because it's World Trade Center, Pentagon, Spring and Fall. And so I was just thinking, what if there was some biological attack and the dust settles and the people are wandering out and they're coming in to do the rescue efforts and all the people walking out of Dundee-Crown are in a daze and they're like, how did you survive? And they go, well, we just peed on our shirts and drank with them. Because that's what we learned in Peterson's class. And then everyone who has Mr. Glenn and the other Mrs. Olminski are all going to be dead. one of the things that people ask a lot is, I had my notebook here in case I forget what I'm supposed to say. I didn't get an iPad. I wasn't part of that program. I took off. Do you think Jacobs was when they found out we got that? They're probably like, we already have them anyway. Our mom bought them. One of the things that when people become teachers, it's always funny. People say, "So why did you want to become a teacher?" And really, it's just because I like my summers off. But you always hear some people go, "Well, I wanted to make an impact in the life of young kids," and that's usually a bunch of crap. But one of the things that I didn't expect, though, actually, was the impact that kids would have on me in my regular life outside doors. I had a kid one time. He graduated from here, and but whenever something would come up in my class that he would find really interesting, or really bad or something, he'd be like, "Dude, that's totally bogus yamma jamma. That's totally bogus yamma jamma. That's bogus yamma jamma." And he said it so often that I started saying it myself. And the problem is, it's I wouldn't think about when I'm saying it. And so I'd be on the phone and someone would be like, "Hey, I can't come help you with that thing that you need help with." And I'd be like, "Dude, that's totally bogus yamma jamma." And he'd be like, "What'd you say?" I'm like, nothing. And then I had some kids. Well, I taught at CMS. I got out, but I taught at CMS. And I had some kids in class over there, and their big thing was they would always say when something really intense would happen, they'd be like, "Dang!" And then I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." And then it took another step, and they'd be like, "Dang, dang, 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 dang!" And so it happened so much that I'd be driving in my car and listen to the news and be like, 10 people died in a fire in Chicago. I'm like, "Dang!" And that's okay, but then I'm having Christmas dinner at my mom's house, and she's like, "Oh, Mrs. Carlson down the street's got cancer." And I'm like, "Dang!" And everyone just looks around I'm just sorry. I'm going to conclude with this weekend's prom. And last year I chaperoned prom for the first time. And, I know I'm getting old because I just don't get how you guys dance. And I know that's I know we have some folks here from previous generations, and they probably get how their kids dance, and my parents didn't get how my generation danced, but I just don't get it. I mean, you never even look at the person you brought. You stand behind them the whole time, or you're the girl in front, and you just do this all night long. And do you even remember who you came with? I mean, do you ever just kind of go, you're girl, who's that coming? Oh, yeah, that's right. I think what you should do, I want to see this on Saturday, is, I've talked about in a couple of my classes, is I want to see if, guys, you have to do this, if your date even notices that you left. And start to coordinate with the people next to you, and kind of be like, all right, we'll kind of doing our thing. We don't even move our feet. We just go like this the whole time. And we'll kind of just back up a little bit, and then we'll take one hand off, and then let's just kind of all slide over one girl. See if she even notices. And the best part will be is if you can get all the way to the other side of the dance floor, and then your date sees you over there, then she'll know. That's my time, and let's thank AJ.